cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269BL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's Beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and Text line where you can call in and text in to chime in on today's show. You can also watch and stream us live on the YouTubes by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube, where you can give a like, you can give a share. Make sure you give a subscribe as we are on our road to 7,000 subscribers here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Make sure you go ahead and hit that bell and give us a like as well. Shout out to DJ Brother Z holding it down on the ones and the twos. And shout out to you, Truth Nation. Now, Truth Nation, I am so excited to start the show today. I had a little hiccup on Wednesday or Tuesday, but that's okay, because I told y'all we got to talk about our beloved Milwaukee Brewers, as pitchers and catchers have reported to Maryville, Arizona for spring training, as our Milwaukee Brewers, the defending NL Central champion, the team that broke a franchise record in wins last season, is on the road to try to finally bring a World Series title here. We're excited because tickets are going on sale very, very soon. Matter of fact, tickets went on sale today. They went on sale today. And to talk about it all, I am so excited to be joined by Brewers Radio broadcaster Lane Grindle. He is here to discuss the upcoming season and some great things you have to know. Lane, thank you so much for joining us here on Truth to Power.
Kyle, I'm excited just listening to you talk about it. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, Lane. So I have the fortunate opportunity to be able to listen to Lane Grindle all the time on our sister station, 620 WTMJ. Him and Jeff Levering holding it down always for us. But let's just get right into it, Lane. Brewer spring training gets underway today. Pitchers and catchers have finally reported. And with the full squad arriving next week, this team is coming off multiple NL Central titles in a row. What excites you most about the Brewers heading into this season?
Well, so many things. I think right now one of the things that's kind of fresh on everybody's mind is just this incredible pitching depth that it looks like they're going to have. Now, the minute you say that, sometimes you regret it because the old adage is you can never have enough pitching depth, but they've really added a lot of arms that are going to be able to contribute either in that bullpen or certainly it looks like in that starting rotation. And we've learned the last couple of years that you need those arms. I think the Brewers had 15 or 16 different guys take the ball to start a game for them last year off the top of my head. I mean, they ran through a bunch of starters just in the month of April because of injuries. So adding guys like Kyle Harrison and Brandon Sproat to an already pretty deep group, it's pretty exciting, I think, for this Brewers club. And news just coming out right before we started this interview that the Brewers and William Contreras avoided arbitration. That's even better news.
All right.
You don't have to worry about that lingering for the first couple of weeks of spring training. So that's great news, too. Just helps everybody get focused and get ready on trying to run it back here in 2026.
That is exciting news. I did not hear that. It was great. I'm glad that they were able to avoid arbitration and come to a deal as we get spring training underway. Now, Lane, is a new season comes new faces, and you just kind of referenced some of the new faces that the Brewers fans are going to be able to get acclimated with, who we've acquired in different acquisitions and trades. But can fans expect the same exciting style of Brewers baseball we've seen over the last couple of years, despite some of the changes that we've had?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely something you can expect because of Pat Murphy at the top. The manager wants to play this game a certain way, and the Brewers and Matt Arnold and his front office have given him a team, and really they've done it the last couple of years too, that fits that style really well. They want to be aggressive on the base paths. They want to go first to third. They want to steal bases. They want to be teams that do a really good job of ball strike and putting the ball in play and creating chaos. And I think this group's going to be able to do so much of that as well. Now, Isaac Collins is gone from that position player group. Caleb Durbin is gone from that position player group. But you get a guy back in David Hamilton, who the Brewers are really familiar with because he was originally a Brewers draft pick and in the organization. He's one of the fastest players in baseball. So you get a lot of speed back as a part of that return in that Caleb Durbin deal. And so it's exciting. I mean, this is a really athletic group. There's a great combination of veterans and younger players still, but these younger players are starting to get into years 2 and 3 and 4 in the big leagues, and that's when you start seeing some of the big leaps offensively, like we saw in the second half of the season last year from Bryce Terang.
That is so exciting to hear. We are speaking with Lane Grindle. I'm so sorry. Lane Grindle,
happens all the time. No worries.
Brewers baseball broadcaster, who you can hear on 620 WTMJ. Lane holds it down with Jeff and Mr. Maurer as well, so it's always great. He's discussing the Brewers this season. Now, in addition to that, I do want to hear, Freddie Peralta, he got traded. We just saw the Caleb Durbin trade that you alluded to as well. Both are going to be big losses. But looking at the pitching staff this year, everybody loved fastball Freddie. We know about Big Woo. We know about Quinn Priester and what he was able to do last year. And we know about Jacob Mizorowski throwing that flame. But is there any type of player or pitcher on this staff that fans need to watch going into this season who's going to be a breakout candidate like a Quinn Priester did, even though they acquired him during the season, or Jacob Mizorowski?
Yeah, that's a really good question because this pitching group, if you will, led by Chris Hook, does such a great job of taking high-end guys and getting the most out of them and developing them. And that's what they did with Quinn Priester, as you just said, a year ago. I think there's a handful of guys that could have that kind of a leap this year, and some of them are new to the organization. I think Brandon Sproat, which was part of the Freddie Peralta return, along with Jet Williams, is certainly a guy that's going to have a shot. Is he in the rotation on opening day? Is he not? That's going to be determined over the next couple of weeks. But I think he is a really exciting guy with big upside. And I know Chris Hook likes him because Matt Arnold told me they had Chris Hook take a look at him before they made the deal.
That's good.
I think that's a guy that could have a really nice year for the Brewers. He does have some major league experience, making 4 starts last year for the Mets in the big leagues towards the end of the year. And then I'm just intrigued by Kyle Harrison. This guy was one of the top pitching prospects in baseball if you go back 2 years ago. He hasn't maybe totally come into his own yet, but he's still just 24 years old. He hasn't had bad results in the big leagues. He has been a major league level starting pitcher, but is he a front end kind of guy? If anybody can make him one, it's Chris Hook in that group with Jim Henderson and everybody else. So I think those two guys are guys that I'm looking at closely that it'll be fun to see how they fit in. And then the other one is Jet Williams. That was, again, a part of that Freddie Peralta trade. The Brewers very high on him. And what a fun name, perfect name for this team with the way they want to run with the undersized guys. And so I can't wait to see what he has to offer in spring. I would guess that may be more of a Caleb Durbin type of plan for Jet Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have that many AAA at-bats, so maybe you see him in AAA to start the year, but see him up in the big leagues sooner rather than later.
Definitely hope to have him have a healthy season here with the Brewers. But, again, so excited to have you here, Lane. And, Lane, you're on the radio side with the Brewers Radio Network with our sister station, 620 WTMJ. But there's also been a lot of conversation about some changes and how fans can watch Brewers games on TV this year. What does that mean for fans moving forward? Can you share a little bit of an update?
Yeah, absolutely, Kyle. So, obviously, making the switch from FanDuel to Brewers TV, and this doesn't impact me a lot, but it certainly impacts the Brewers and impacts our fans on a large level. But the good news is I think there's going to hopefully be even more opportunities for fans to get a chance to see Brewers baseball on TV as a result of this move. MLB local media is going to offer the fans the best in class viewing experience. You're going to see some different kind of camera angles, some different kind of production level that might be even a step up from what FanDuel was. It's going to be the same broadcasters. BA, when Jeff's not with me on the radio, he's over there holding things down on television. Of course, your analysts with Rock and Tim Dillard and the great Vinny Rottino, and Sophia is going to be back. She's already down in Arizona. I was texting with her this morning, and then there will be pre and post game shows that might be a little different, but a fairly similar look, and certainly personnel wise going to be the same. But I think what fans really want to know about, Kyle, is how are they going to be able to watch the games? Can they watch them through their satellite or cable provider? Yes, they're going to be available on select cable and satellite providers. Those will be announced in the coming weeks as we get closer to the season, but you're also going to have the opportunity to stream through Brewers.tv or through the MLB app, and it's going to cost a monthly package with that of $19.99 per month. It's going to be available in March. You can also purchase for the year at $99.99. So there's a lot of different opportunities for Brewers fans to still take in the Brewers on television. Of course, we always got you on the radio side too, so we're excited about it.
We sure do, Lane. You'll be happy to know that I was just out with my lady and her dad told me how he just paid $100 to be able to watch the Brewers. So he's very excited, and he is ready to go this season. Now, with watching it and listening, you can also be in stadium, and those tickets, yes, single game tickets went on sale today, and fans can go to brewers.com/tickets. And the team just released its promotional schedule. They got Star Wars night with Grogu bobblehead that's presented by ESPN Milwaukee. They have Boy Band night, Hello Kitty night, and so much more. Lane, what do you love most about the in-game experience at American Family Field? I know you're in the booth, but you still get to feel the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's just the crowd. I mean, it's that simple for me. The big moments, the way that Brewers fans are so knowledgeable about the game and how loyal they are to their team. I mean, it's a really unique atmosphere. I just love the big moments at American Family Field, and I love as a broadcaster to just shut up and let the crowd talk when they happen, because that's the best thing for the listeners, just to be able to be there themselves and feel it too. But I'm excited about these promotional giveaways for sure. I'm 44. I'll turn 45 in May. So, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of excited about this boy band night. I want to see what
you're an NSYNC fan,
cool.
Huh?
I liked all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, 98 Degrees was great.
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys, of course. I think NSYNC probably was the biggest one of that group, but it's debatable. There were some pretty big boy bands back in the day.
There were a lot of big boy bands and a lot of big games here for the Milwaukee Brewers. Lane, thank you so much for joining us here today to discuss the Milwaukee Brewers. Make sure you can listen to Lane. You can listen to the TV broadcast, and make sure you just tune in for the Milwaukee Brewers all season long. Again, this is Lane Grindle, baseball broadcaster for Brewers Radio Network. He's joined by Josh Maurer, and he's also joined by Jeff Levering on 620 WTMJ. You can hear those every single game they have. So thanks so much for joining us here, Lane.
Hey, Cal, you're the best, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Make sure y'all get y'all single game tickets by going to brewers.com/tickets. And if you go 1017 The Truth on YouTube, you can see some of the great giveaways that we have. You got the chorizo, you got the mini bat. There's so many great giveaways that the Milwaukee Brewers have. So make sure you go get your tickets and support the Brewers because they are the hottest ticket in the summer around the city of Milwaukee. I love tailgating, but also I love to go see the Brewers, and they are exciting team to watch. And what I love is even though we trade some of our favorite players away, we love Fastball Freddie. We loved ourselves some Devin Williams. We loved ourselves some Corbin Burns. There is always somebody coming up next for the Brewers. But when we come back, Truth Nation, we're going to continue the conversation. The Office of Violence Prevention, or the office formerly known as the Office of Violence Prevention, they have new leadership. We're going to talk about that next. Keep it locked as we talk about the Office of Violence Prevention right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth next.
Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home. If they don't win, it's a shame. 'Cause it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Let's go, Brewers!
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. We're a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals, the plates are piled high with flavor, and a lakefront sunrise sets the stage. Here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring, a place that welcomes you with open arms and where joy is shared in bites, beats, and cheers. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Your taste buds are in luck. The Reuben is back at Cousin Subs. Try this classic sub grilled to order just for you. Stacked with corned beef, Wisconsin Swiss cheese, and sauerkraut topped with Thousand Island dressing and served on rye bread. And our delicious mint shake is back. Both the Reuben and mint shake can be ordered via the Cousins app or online for a limited time only. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
American Family Insurance is a proud sponsor of the award-winning 1017 The Truth, and since 1927, they've been committed to making life better with the right home and auto protection, all so you are free to enjoy your dreams. Make sure you insure carefully and dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. You can go to amfam.com today to find an agent near you or to get a quote instantly online. Go to amfam.com. They make it so easy, they make it so smooth, and they make it so good. Again, that's American Family Insurance. Insure carefully and dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Thank you so much to Lane Grindle. I can't believe I called him Jeff Levering. You know why? Is I was trying to remember Josh Mauer's name. Josh Mauer's the third person that's part of the broadcast, and I said Jeff Levering. I felt, oh, crap, that sounds terrible. But thank you to Lane Grindle, and shout out to the Milwaukee Brewers. Love everything that they do for the community in the city. Now, Truth Nation, make sure you also can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can give us a like, you can give us a share, and you can give us a subscribe. Now, on the other side, I teased the fact that we're going to be talking about the Office of Violence Prevention really quickly. And I want to say the now new Department of Community Wellness and Safety, no longer the Office of Violence Prevention, no longer the Office of Community and Wellness and Safety, the new City Department of Community Wellness and Safety, which has been riddled with controversy and leadership turnover for many years now. It has a new leader, and it's an old face. Shout out to Karen Tyler, as they announced that she is the new director of the office. And this is after Adam Purcell resigned due to the rules that keep convicted felons from running departments. And the reason why I keep saying new and I keep saying department is because that plays a key part in why Adam Purcell had to leave anyways, with the controversy of the fact that basically it used to be the Office of Violence Prevention. They used to be underneath the Department of Administration. And the Common Council, when they voted in the last budget, they moved it to be a standalone department. And based off of state laws and rules, Adam Purcell could not be the director of that department. He resigned. It made him ineligible, so that's why he resigned. And now we found ourselves once again trying to figure out who's going to be the leader of the Office of Violence Prevention, now known as the Department of Community Wellness and Safety. And I do believe that this office is now in good hands with Karen Tyler, as she has been in the office for years now. She serves as the interim leader when Ashanti Hamilton, after he resigned in January of 2025. And so I do believe they are in very good hands. She was a finalist for the position last year before Mayor Johnson skipped over her for the job and went with Adam Purcell. So I just wanted to make sure I provide an update. And this office just has been a complete mess when it comes to leadership for years now. They had the same leader for a long time, and then Reggie Moore came in. I believe he was there for about 5 years as well. So in the first, from 2008 to 2021, only had two different people leading it, with Terry Perry and Reggie Moore in charge. But then after Moore left, everything really just hit the fan. There really wasn't stability. You had Arnita Holloman, who was promoted to lead the office by Mayor Tom Barrett, and Arnita did not get along with Mayor Cavalier Johnson at all. He eventually fired her in 2022 over a trip to the White House where she was told she couldn't go unless she paid her own way, and then she got funding a different way to go to it, and they were mad about it. And so, listen, according to reports, there was tension between those two, and she ended up getting fired. And then Mayor Johnson hired Ashanti Hamilton, which came with a lot of controversy. Because people did not believe that he had a resume that was fit to lead that office. I seem to agree with that. And also due to the fact in 2009, Ashanti Hamilton was accused of child abuse, of hitting his daughter at the time with a plastic hanger and leaving a mark. Hamilton and prosecutors, they ended up coming to an agreement where if he stayed out of trouble for a year, it would get wiped away, it'd get dropped, and it did. So, people have family issues, and that is what it is. But those were two different things. That the fact that people didn't think he was fit for the job, people kind of thought that maybe it was a favor that was being done versus actually somebody earning the job, especially when you're talking about reducing violence. That just all didn't seem like it fit very well. And then Chevy Johnson decided to choose Adam Purcell, which I thought was out of the box. I thought it was unique, and I actually thought it was creative, and I wasn't mad about it. A lot of people were mad about it simply because of the fact that they feel like he skipped steps with that. He claimed he didn't skip any steps, and he had the power to appoint whoever he wanted. And then Adam Purcell was forced to resign. But I do want to wish the best of luck to Karen Tyler, as she has a tall task ahead of her, because she's overseeing a city that saw 142 homicides last year. She's overseeing a city that in last year you saw an 8% increase in murders, in homicides. She's overseeing the city, and when I say overseeing, she's not in charge, but she's looking to solve problems and fixing things. That in the first 7 months of last year, 42% of the murder victims were 29 or younger, and 57% of those suspects who were potentially the person who murdered somebody, 57% were 29 or younger. And so we have an issue with violence, but also we have an issue with youth here in Milwaukee losing their lives and being the perpetrator of some of this violence. And Karen Tyler is going to try to devise a plan in order to reduce some of this violence. And so, again, it's a tall task that she has, but we should all be cheering for her. We should all be cheering for our city to do well. And I just wanted to provide an update, because a lot of times we talk about, we all talk about the juicy story, right? The controversial story. Leader of the Office of Community Wellness and Safety steps down, Adam Purcell, after only a couple months on the job. That was a big deal. Everybody talked about it. We talked about it as well. So just as it is important to keep everybody up to date on the big, juicy, controversial stories, I also feel like it's important to update us on the other stories that don't have too much controversy. I think Karen Tyler is a very uncontroversial or non-controversial selection. And I'm all in on it. And I wish her the best of luck. But 833-212-1017, that is the Truth Talking text line. You can call in, text in at 833-212-1017 if you do have any thoughts or comments on the Office of Community Wellness and Safety here in the city of Milwaukee, or I should say department, whatever they call it, is a standalone now on Karen Tyler being promoted. But 833-212-1017. Alan, Milwaukee, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is Kyle, how do they expect for the inner city of Milwaukee to get better when you're taxing everybody like you got a damn drug addict? You got the people in MPS, don't nobody know what they do because everybody's sitting there with lazy eyes and cross eyes like they getting an ADHD crazy check. Our streets look like trash, and don't nobody know what they can do. All the money is leaving the city, but you expect the inner city to be great. And the only thing that's positive for the inner city is some damn Section 8 where they spending $300 a month. How you think the inner city gonna get better? Because the only thing they do for the inner city is give it some Section 8 and low-income housing. Because if you can keep black people thinking they can pay next to rent and get ahead, you don't have to worry about them giving their best in life.
Damn.
So how that's gonna help the city?
Yeah, I will say this, Al, is that, thank you for calling, is that I am a proponent of Section 42, Section 8. I'm a proponent of affordable housing. But I will say there should be limitations on how long you can be on that, because you have basically incentivized people to not report their taxes or incentivize people to keep their income lower because they don't want to end up having to pay more or potentially being booted out. And people it needs to be understood that this is not a lifestyle. This is temporary to help you get on your feet. Ain't nothing wrong with, Section 42 housing. Ain't nothing wrong with Section 8 housing. The only problem I have is when it's not elderly folks or folks who have mental disabilities or physical disabilities who are utilizing it. If you're an able-bodied individual, it should not be your goal to stay on this as long as possible. There are a lot of people taking advantage of the system. And so I'm right there with Al when it comes to that. But 833-212-1017. I do want to transition over because Truth Nation, I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but yesterday was the anniversary of Nelson Mandela being freed after 27 years in prison. And what a great moment in history that was when a black man who was in prison for speaking up and protecting the people of his country, the native people of his country, and they tried to silence him. Literally tried to silence the majority by trying to take away his power or take away his influence, I should say. All because he was seeking equality for the majority folks. In the South African apartheid, it was weird because growing up as a kid, hearing about the apartheid, and I really didn't realize, I was born in 1990, so I didn't realize that the apartheid was fresh. It ended in 1990. So it was weird because growing up in America, you always think, okay, it's a good place, but like just understanding that there was a whole country, as I'm growing up as a kid, that is literally just now get a whole group of people that are changing of a way of life and getting access to different things when they're the majority. It was so weird to me that from 1948 to 1990, that African people or natural South Africans, the natives, had no power. They didn't. It was odd. I was like, how did that happen? Especially living in America where you see the majority who does have the power and have the influence. And when I think about that, the common denominator in the perpetrators of hate and control seem to always be the white man. Consistently in history, they have been the oppressor on the lands that are not their own. That's just what history has shown you. And this leads me to the halftime show, and I'm going to connect all of this, Truth Nation, just best to believe it. Because I was just doing some thinking and connecting the dots and going, how can we empower ourselves to what Al was talking about so we're not dependent on other things or other people to prop us up? And the thing that we're depending on now is something that we shouldn't, because it can't be trusted, because it's not there to really make you succeed. It's not there to make you thrive. It's only there to just keep feeding the fiend that you have, the addiction that you have. And why I talk about the halftime show, because as yesterday was the day of the anniversary of Nelson Mandela being freed from prison, it also made me think about the halftime show, because I was thinking about the apartheid and the power and control whites have. And then I was thinking about this halftime show, and the numbers came out as well, where Bad Bunny fell just short on viewership records set by Kendrick Lamar last year. Shout out to Diversity leading the way for both of them. Usher's up there as well, Rihanna. And one thing that was very odd to me was the fact that, again, we talked about it, that there was an alternative halftime show that focused on America. It focused on the USA. When really, in reality, it focused on one faction of America, which was white America. That halftime show wasn't about uplifting America. It was about uplifting the white power structure that we have here in America. It was about signaling to white people that we should only embrace the white race. It signaled that if it isn't about us, we will just have our own. Keyword, our own. That's what I want us to follow. The our own. Because they said, Bumstead, we don't want to speak their Spanish. We don't care what the message is going to be. We're going to do our own. See, a lot of times people do the talking, but these folks did the walking and actually had their own white show, halftime show. They did. Got millions of people to watch. And that's exactly what happened. That show was, again, about white power and the systemic and structural and cultural arrangements in this society that seeks to maintain and defend the social and economic and political dominance of white people here in America and across this globe. And it reminded me that black people need to be more selfish. Like, that is my whole thing, is that literally you have people in this country that saw a halftime show that had Bad Bunny. And because he spoke Spanish, they decided, and football is a global sport because they play multiple games across the globe now, in Spanish-speaking countries as well. But because they were mad about it, these folks picked up their ball and they said, you know what, we ain't dealing with these folks who speak Spanish. We having our own dang halftime show. So they walk the walk and talk the talk because they're selfish. And I feel like it reminds me that black people need to be more selfish. We can learn from their selfishness. We can learn from them only focusing on themselves. They're prioritizing themselves. We can hate it, which I do. It's disgusting. But also we can learn something from it, because at the end of the day, when you look at the power structure, look who's on top in America. It definitely ain't us. We black people need to do more to empower ourselves and create our own seats at the table. And matter of fact, we need to have our own tables. And don't get me wrong, we have many powerful and influential black people leading, but we need more. We need to be more selfish. And also, Truth Nation, I ain't a fool. I ain't an idiot. I believe I'm pretty intelligent. I wouldn't say very intelligent. But I understand I'm saying all this while at a white-owned black talk radio station. I get it. I'm talking about have our own, but meanwhile, my bosses don't look like me. So I understand the fact that it's conflicted, and I understand that I am part of the problem. I am. I can admit that. I'm not better. I'm not higher than that. But this is why it's so necessary here locally for the need to build and strengthen our own institutions where we can have our own and build our own, and we can thrive and succeed. That's why it was so disappointing that WNOV, 860 WNOV, got sold to a white-owned company. It was disappointing because though they're seen as quote-unquote competition, I never saw it as that. I just saw it as another option because I believe we deserve as many options as possible. But I love the fact that they could say they were black-owned because we still had something. And we need to have more institutions on our own. We need to have more black people in corporations and businesses and CEOs who can pull the levers of power in this city of Milwaukee. Now, Truth Nation, I also stumbled across a video. I stumbled across a lot. It was a sign. It was a sign that said, Kyle, you need to talk about this. So we had the halftime show, the racist halftime show, the snowflake halftime show. We had that one. Had the Bad Bunny halftime show. We had the anniversary of Nelson Mandela, legendary Nelson Mandela, being released from prison. And then I saw this video where there was an exchange at the World Economic Forum between conservative TV host that you know from Fox News and podcaster now Tucker Carlson and the Zimbabwe president Emerson Mnangagwa. Now, when I stumbled across this video, and the reason why I wanted to share it because this showed that white superiority stretches beyond the shores of America. And when I say that, I should say American white superiority, but just in general, we already knew that, but white American superiority. You have black men and black women who are not safe from the white man thinking he can say, do, and challenge in any kind of way. Remember, this is the way, and you'll see this video, this is the way Tucker Carlson approached and handled a president of an African nation. He didn't focus on educating and focus on being, not factual, because I wouldn't say anything he said wasn't factual, but he wasn't focused on really educating and trying to understand. He was focused on being a little bit more combative and questioning what they were doing. So when we come back, Truth Nation, we will find out, or you will find out, why even black nations who focus on self-reliance and self-empowerment are still limited to what they can do because of other folks outside of their country trying to control them. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Walls. On the other side, I'm going to show you how white supremacy has no, and I mean no, guardrails. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Walls. We'll come back with more on the other side.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Many wins. Many wins. Waiting at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. This February, you could break the bank and get down with a share of $300,000 in prizes. Bust out your rewards card and play to earn entries. It all goes down with Thursday drawings. Break the bank. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
This Associated Bank Sports Center update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel. In just his second game with the Milwaukee Bucks, Cam Thomas came up big, scoring 34 points off the bench for the Milwaukee Bucks in a 116-108 win against the Orlando Magic on Wednesday. Cam Thomas after his big shooting performance.
Obviously, everybody knows I can score, but at the end of the day, that's the name of the game, getting buckets, scoring, but I am more than just a scorer. I feel like playmaking, drawing the defense on me, making the right plays.
The Bucks travel to Oklahoma City, take on the defending champs tonight, 6:30 tip-off on Amazon Prime. And in the Winter Olympics, Wisconsin native Jordan Stolz comes up big, winning his first gold medal. The 21-year-old made his mark in the 1,000-meter race, setting an Olympic record in the process. It's the largest margin of victory in the Olympics since 1984. This True Sports Update was brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams, member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Truth Nation, mark your calendars for Friday, February 20th. That's next Friday for the second annual Truth Community Awards presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel, celebrating individuals making a real difference in our community. Tickets are on sale right now, and they're flying off hot, y'all. You don't want to miss it. Don't wait. Don't wait. Buy your tickets today by going to 1017truthawards.com to buy your tickets today. We're getting closer and closer to capacity. We're getting closer and closer to good time, but you still have tickets available, so make sure you go to 1017truthawards.com to buy your tickets today. The Truth Community Awards are presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffel's Cousin Subs, and Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall. Come on, Truth Nation, come and celebrate with us as we highlight some incredible individuals doing great things in the community. Like I said, I got Andre Douglas, who we are awarding one of the Unsung Hero Awards and the impact that he has made with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee. We have other recipients as well, so come join us on Friday, February 20th at the Truth Community Awards, hosted by the legendary Homer Blow and the legendary Bailey Coleman from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Venue 3 in the 3rd Street Market Hall, all presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Don't miss out on the best community awards event of the year. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And I'm your host of Truth to Power. Oh, the bat just hit the flow. Kyle Wallace. And on the other side, before the break, I teased a video that I wanted to play from an exchange at the World Economic Forum that just took place in Dubai recently. And I think it's a prime example of systemic and structural racism persisting to the detriment of the advancement of black people, not only just nationally here in America, but globally. Tucker Carlson was speaking with the Zimbabwean president. And for me, this conservative American white man asked the leader of a black country if it was wrong for them to take land from white people in his country. Now, I don't know if y'all know much about Zimbabwe. I don't know if you know, I know you know a little bit about Africa. But Brother Z, if you think of Zimbabwe, if I said, what do you think a Zimbabwe person look like? Do you think the Zimbabwe person look a little fair skinned or look a little darker skinned? He said a little darker skinned. But they're mad that the fair-skinned white people who came and colonized this place are potentially losing some of their land. Go to 1017 The Truth to hear how Tucker Carlson pressed and questioned why Zimbabwe would try to take land from white landowners, even though you know it's stolen land. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube to see the exchange.
So you've been in the government of Zimbabwe for decades in various roles, including through a very turbulent period where your predecessor famously kicked out the whites and then the economy tanked and now it's rising again. I wonder if you would summarize the lessons that your country has learned from that experience.
I'm not so sure what you have in mind. But let me say, our economy has faced challenges. I'm sure you're aware.
Yes.
Zimbabwe has been under sanctions for decades as a result of us claiming our land from the British and making ourselves independent. We seized the land and gave it to our people. So sanctions were imposed on us. But in spite of all that constraint we have developed, and we are happy that we have developed on our own, and we feel very independent.
Well, some of the land was seized from people who were born there. So I wonder if there's a lesson about targeting people on the basis of their skin color. Do you think?
I hear you.
Well, people had their land seized in Zimbabwe who were born in Zimbabwe, and they were targeted on the basis of their race. And I wonder if you think that's good or bad.
No. Land did not belong to a race. It belonged to Zimbabweans. Right. So when the colonialists took land from us, time came when we asserted ourselves, take back our land. And those who wanted to have land at the same basis as the African people of Zimbabwe remained. But those who felt they were superior left.
Okay. President Nagawa, I wonder what.
And this is my problem, is that he sat there and he formulated the country. He said, your economy tanked. What are the lessons you learned from stealing land from the white people? The audacity to focus on the removal of the land from the whites versus to focus on how these white folks acquired their land anyways is the first problematic thing. But we have to understand that is the mentality of an American white man, by the way. But that's the mentality that a lot of these folks have. This man, Tucker Carlson, had more empathy for the original criminal. He had more empathy for the colonizer. He had empathy for the person who stole the land versus the actual real victims of colonization, which is the black Zimbabweans. And we've seen it in many countries. Matter of fact, Zach asked me in my ear during that. He said, wait, so they had to pay Britain? Yes. That is the problem. When you get your freedom, they say, okay, you can have your freedom. You're going to fight for your freedom. But we're going to put economic pain on you and hurt your industry so you basically sink. That is one of the issues, but he rather focus on the folks that lost their land. He couldn't relate to black people's struggle in the fight, and instead he focused on making the folks who originally, again, stole the land, he focused on their empathy and what they're going to get, even though they got that land through abuse and fear and taking it. And why I know this is based off race and power and the way that he addressed this whole situation, Tucker Carlson, is because Tucker Carlson had a chance to interview Vladimir Putin, the Russian president or dictator. And the funny thing happened, he got a lot of backlash because they said that Tucker Carlson went easy on him. He literally interviewed Vladimir Putin as Putin was killing so many Ukrainians, hundreds and thousands of Ukrainians. And Putin himself even said he was surprised about how easy that interview was. He was expecting him to be more aggressive with sharp questions based off how he interviews other people, but he chose a different tactic. Yeah, why? Because Vladimir Putin is white. And the lesson should be for this here in America is on white supremacy is so dangerous. They do not respect us. They do not want us to be self-reliant. They want us to be controlled. They want to be the gatekeepers of everything we have. I think, and Zach, you can help me. Didn't Dr. Ken have a show talking about how we can be more powerful, how we can get our strength back? And I talked to Ken during the break. I said it's hard to get your power back when you have to deal with all the gatekeepers around you. And this is why I think that we, the people, need to stop relying on folks or depending on folks who don't look like us to swoop in and save the day. If we think they're going to save the day, we are greatly mistaken. You cannot expect anything from anyone who doesn't have empathy for you. And again, in this specific instance, we are, discussing Zimbabwe, which was once called Rhodesia, which was named after a white colonizer, Cecil Rhodes. They were colonized for 100 years. Their land was stolen from them, taken from them. And Tucker Carlson didn't want to focus on that. He wanted to focus on the fact that, these white people are being attacked. See, this is why I'm trying to connect all this. The main thing he focused on was challenging and concerns about the white person's pain, the same way that Donald Trump focuses on the pain of the white South Africans. That's why they brought South Africans here, because they can feel for their pain. They can have empathy for them. Here in America, we've been trying to get our reparations for years. And this should be a lesson that we ain't going to get reparations here if when countries in Africa and African nations are getting reparations in their land and their majority is asking for reparations and taking reparations, you got folks over there or you got folks over here and across the globe who are objecting to the land being redistributed. So my whole point today, Truth Nation, is I want to expose that these folks who don't look like us will never truly be invested in our success. They are not here to save us. They are here to use us for their financial gain. They will not have your best interest in mind. They will constantly give you a little bit while always limiting your growth. Why would they want you to outshine them? Why would they want you to lose their grip on power? Why would they want someone else to close the gap on their supremacy? That's what we have to understand. So when the Bad Bunny thing, people got upset and mad about it, but I said, well, what was the mentality and the mindset of that? Like, where does that come from? Because that seems odd for an organization that preaches religion and and God to bring somebody like Kid Rock to be the headline. It didn't make sense. That's like my pastor saying, I want to bring Sexy Red to my church for y'all. What? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't align. But the one thing that aligns is it was all about sending the message of white supremacy and saying you don't have to deal with that because we got you. And let me be very clear with this. Not all white people are bad. I just always feel I need to put that disclaimer out there because I appreciate so many white people. When I go on my Facebook page, especially right now, and I see all them folks I went to high school with in Whitefish Bay and elementary school and what they standing up for and how they speaking out, I love it. It makes me feel good because I had somebody else tell me, a white guy who I know, and he only went on his Facebook page. He's from a different area, hours away. He said, I can't stand going on Facebook to seeing some of these folks I went to school with. I can't say the same. Because a lot of them are good folks who are trying to fight, but we have to understand that Trump did win the election with a large support of white men and white people. So we have to understand that the vision he has for America, that Trump has for America, what we are seeing is held by a lot of powerful white men. Look at the Epstein files. We need to be mindful and we need to be conscious of this so we can proceed with caution and prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. And again, I felt like this Zimbabwe story tied with Nelson Mandela, tied with the alternative Super Bowl halftime show were perfect examples of why we should never depend on anyone outside of our community to give us our power. 833-212-1017. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. And I'm just talking about when we talk about that alternative halftime show, it wasn't about we enjoy this music. It was about we want to send a message to those who don't like this that you don't need to go along with this. You don't need to have a diverse country. You don't need to depend on anything else because at the end of the day, we will uplift the white race at all times. It is about upholding white superiority. And when we come back, I'm going to wrap up the show talking about why I get so frustrated at some of the local politicians who I feel like, as Tori would say, they go along to get along to go along, whatever it is. You heard it more than I have, Zach. Get along to go along. But I'm going to talk about why there needs to be a shift at some point. We need to continue to apply pressure for the black politicians here in Milwaukee who have the majority of the power here in Milwaukee to be laser focused on uplifting black people more than anything else. It's Truth to Power with Kyle Walls, and we'll wrap up the show with that thought on the other side.
Trash. This Black History Month, 1017 The Truth, opening up the mic to Milwaukee's youth. Young boys and girls sharing what Black history means to them in their own words. I'll be reading and sharing your submissions with the 1017 The Truth audience all month long. Our voices, our stories. If you know a young person with something to say, share their message on social media, tag at ToryLow_King or 1017 The Truth. Let's amplify their stories together.
Valentine's Day is almost here, and Cousin Subs has the perfect sweet treat. Our limited-time chocolate strawberry shake mixes rich chocolate and sweet strawberry flavor into one creamy, indulgent sip. Share it on a date, or enjoy it just for you. But hurry, it's only available through February 15th. Order in store, online, or in the app today. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
After a crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the knowledge and experience to make sure you're protected. And we're here to help. whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Prizes,
exclusive experiences,
even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com.
That's truthcontests.com.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
1, 2, 3, ho!
It's Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and again, we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio. Make sure y'all watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. And I wanted to tie in again, I talked about the halftime show earlier this week, but I wanted to tie back in how that is a reflection of white supremacy that has no borders, because that's what it is. White supremacy has no borders because you got Tucker Carlson telling African, trying to shame an African leader on how bad it was that for the economy to take land away from white people, ignoring the fact that there are many times, like in Haiti and all these other many places that have black bodies and countries that had deal with imperialism and colonization. When they got their freedom, they had to pay a steep economic price for their own freedom. And I connected that here to the fact that we literally, cannot count on anybody to save us. And why I get so mad at these black politicians here in Milwaukee for following behind white folks is because of the fact that I know that these folks don't have our best interests in mind, so why follow behind them? I want them to be so laser focused on encouraging black people to prioritize our unity, prioritize our education, prioritize our economic development to improve our own communities. We have the power. We literally have the power to make the change, but we still have too many black people struggling in the city of Milwaukee. It needs to be a priority for those who are in charge to uplift our community. Use your power to uplift those that look like you. And again, I'm not saying that we don't have programs, because we have programs and they do a great job of having different programs to help. They do. They don't just ignore. But there needs to be more of a real investment. I want them to use their power to help us build our own institutions. Use their power to help us have more economic power and political influence rather than waiting for external help from white individuals to help our institutions. Because in Milwaukee, look at the Common Council, mostly black. Look at the mayor, black. Look at the Milwaukee County Executive, black. I understand it's easier said than done, but when you have the power like we have here in Milwaukee, we need to be getting things done. We need to use this to our advantage. Because let me tell you, I'm going to be honest. There are other people, when they have power, they 100% focus without a hesitation on themselves. They focus on how they can economically build themselves, because heck, when you look at what they're doing in Port Washington and different communities where they know these AI data centers could have potential health harms to their people, but they don't give a dang. They say, hey, show us the money. So if you think they willing to poison their own people, you think they would be concerned about your well-being? Hell no. This has been Truth to Power with Kyle Walls right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. The Tory Lowe shows up next from 1 to 4. Truth Nation, peace out. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
Listen Fridays to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris during Black History Month for Dr. Ken's Trivia. It's not just questions, it's culture. Facts they don't teach you and